Keeping up with our motto that learning be a joy and teaching a pleasure, here we are with the remote teaching and learning process to bridge the gap. Happy learning, students! Today we are going to continue with Class 10 Science Part 1, Chapter number 8, Metallurgy. Topics that I am going to cover during this session are corrosion of metals and prevention of corrosion. What is corrosion of metals? Corrosion is a natural process that converts a refined metal into a more chemically stable form such as oxide, hydroxide, sulfide, etc. In the most common use of the word, this means electrochemical oxidation of metal in reaction with an oxidant such as oxygen. Here you can see three different examples of corrosion. The first example is the copper-cladded Statue of Liberty, which was made 300 years ago. The left picture shows the Statue of Liberty in 1886, whereas today Statue of Liberty looks like this shown on the right hand side. This is because carbon dioxide in the moist air react with the surface of the copper. So, copper loses its luster due to the formation of greenish layer of copper carbonate on its surface, and that is why it has turned green in color. So this is called patination of copper. In the second example, you can see the iron chain. It reacts with the moist air and deposits a reddish substance over it. This substance is called rust. And finally, in the third picture, you can see on exposure to air, the silver articles, they turn blackish after some times. This is because of the layer of silver sulfide formed by the reaction of silver with hydrogen in air. How can we prevent this corrosion? There are various methods that are used to protect metals from corrosion. One of the simplest method is by keeping the metals isolated from the direct contact with air. This can be done by fixing a layer of some substance on the metal surface so that the contact of the metal with the moisture and the oxygen in the air is prevented. So, this layer can be provided by applying a layer of paint, oil, grease or varnish on the metal surface. We cannot protect the articles permanently from rusting by painting on them. This method of painting is suitable for the short time only. If there is a scratch on the paint on the surface of the article and if a small surface of the metal comes in contact with the air, the process of rusting starts below the layer of the paint also. So, there is one more method of preventing corrosion for a longer duration of time. That is by putting a layer of non-corrodable metal on the corrodable metal. And this can be done in several ways. That is by galvanizing, tinning, anodization, electroplating and alloying. Let us see all these methods in detail. Galvanization. In this method, a thin layer of zinc is applied to prevent corrosion of iron or steel. For example, shining iron nails, pins, etc. Picture shows the different stages of galvanization process. And picture on the right bottom side shows that how zinc bath is provided to the different substances that are made up of iron or steel so that a zinc coating is applied over them. In this method, corrosion of zinc occurs first because zinc is more electropositive than iron. After a few rainy seasons, the zinc layer goes away and the inner iron gets exposed. And then the iron starts rusting. So it is a longer process. So here with the help of galvanization, we can prevent the substance from getting corroded for a longer duration of time. Next is tinning. In this method, a layer of molten tin is deposited on the metals. We call this as kalai. We have already seen that carbon dioxide in the moist air react with the surface of the copper or the brass vessel. This results in the formation of a greenish layer over the surface of the vessel, which is very poisonous. And if buttermilk or curry is placed in such vessel, then it will get spoiled. So, in order to prevent this, tinning is practiced since ages. You can see over here in this picture how tinning is done and how tinned vessels looks like after providing a layer of tin over them. Third is anodization. In this method, metals like copper, aluminium, they are coated with a thin and strong layer of their oxides by means of electrolysis process. For this, the copper or aluminium article is used as anode. As this oxide layer is strong and uniform all over the surface, it is useful for prevention of the corrosion of metal. For example, when aluminium is anodized, the thin layer of aluminium oxide is formed over it. It obstructs the contact of aluminium with the oxygen and water. This prevents further oxidation. So this protection can be further increased by making the oxide layer thicker during the anodization process. Electroplating. In this method, a less reactive metal is coated on a more reactive metal by electrolysis process. Silver plated spoons, gold plated ornaments, these are the examples of electroplating. Few more examples are shown over here in the picture, like gold plated watch, copper plated mug and silver plated teapot. On the right hand side, the electrolysis process is shown, where the solution of copper sulfate is the electrolyte. A strip of copper acts as an anode and an iron spoon acts as a cathode. When the direct current is passed through this solution, the process of electrolysis takes place where the less reactive metal, that is copper, it gets deposited on the more reactive metal, that is iron. So this is how the copper plating is done on iron spoon. So we get the copper plated spoon. And the last method is alloying. Majority of the metallic substances used presently are in the form of alloys. The main intention behind this is to decrease the intensity of corrosion of metals. The homogeneous mixture formed by mixing a metal with other metals or the non-metal in certain proportion is called an alloy. For example, bronze. It is formed from 90% copper and 10% tin. So bronze statue, they do not get affected by sun and rain. One more example is stainless steel. It is made from 74% iron, 18% chromium and 8% carbon. It does not get stains with air or water and also does not get rust. In recent times, various types of alloys are used for minting coins also. Few of the examples are shown over here: bronze statue, brass saxophone, stainless steel sink, etc. This is all about this chapter. Thank you so much.